Rating doctors like restaurants. Chief Medical Correspondent and Time Magazine columnist Dr. Sanjay Gupta has details on a new program that lets you have your say. He writes about the service in his column. He talked to us about it in the newsroom.
When it comes to medicine in the medical field, consumerism or sort of consumer input has been one of the last things to sort of come to that. So this idea that you could actually have customers or patients in this case actually rating doctors to some extent, I think is a pretty interesting thing. Zagat, which makes those burgundy books, a lot of people have seen those, partnering with WellPoint, they're actually gonna using 4 different criteria, can actually look at doctors such as availability, such as communication, environment, and trust. It's only going to be, for the time being, for WellPoint insurance folks in partnership with Zagat, and you have to have 10 surveys actually submitted about a particular doctor before they actually publish anything. Okay. But it's sort of interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I wonder though, are there any dangers to this? I mean, if somebody, I don't know, has a bad day or the doctor wasn't as nice as they wanted them to be, then they could write really fiery comments.
Yeah, and typically, as a general rule, people tend to write in when they're angry, and less so when they're actually happy.
That's always the case, isn't it?
That is the case. Yeah, we deal with that. And the other thing is that WellPoint's actually overseeing this, so in some ways it's kind of like they're rating their own doctors, which some people are going to cry foul and say, well, how unbiased is that? But I think more to the point, though, is this idea that you may not need to be the nicest person in the world to be a good doctor still.
Sure.
I don't know how to say that, but you look at the character House, for example, on TV. He's obviously a fictional television. He is not a nice guy, and he probably wouldn't do well in a survey like this, but he's a smart doc nonetheless. And I think that's also a concern.
Well, there are also some of these websites out there already that sort of talk about doctors and their services, right?
Yeah, there are a couple of sites out there that exist. Health Grades is one of them, for example, and my producers actually went in and put my name in there.
Oh boy!
Some of these are for pay websites, and yeah, I actually did okay. But it tells you quite a bit of information about yourself, including the types of procedures you do, how many patients you see, that sort of thing. And patients can write in on some of these surveys as well.